Good day, everyone. This is your philosophy teacher, Ms. Nashera. And for today, we will be discussing about understanding death. The objectives of this lesson are, at the end of this lesson, the student is expected to A. Interpret the idea of happiness and suffering and how the human person deals with this emotion. Letter B. Analyze happiness, suffering, and death and how the human person handles this reality in life. Letter C. Evaluate how the human person understand and accept the end of life or death. Activity. We have first the thought bubble. What comes to your mind when you hear the words happiness, suffering, and death? So let's proceed to our lesson now. Reflection on the meaning of life, happiness. Ancient Greek philosophy considers happiness as an achievement and it must be gained by living a productive and moral life. Religious philosophers consider happiness as union with God. Others define it as whole life satisfaction. Various philosophical views emphasize the setting of worthwhile goals in life to achieve personal happiness. Happiness is a state of being and not merely an emotional experience or a chosen mental attitude. We do not really choose happiness because we all have a tendency towards it, but that we choose the means to achieve it. As an embodied spirit, we must also consider the goods or sources of happiness which are proper to a human person. We have first the noble good, which is pursued for its own sake. It is good in itself. Useful good, considered good so long as it serves as a means to an end. Its goodness is found only from what it can provide. Pleasurable good. It is good as long as it provides some form of pleasure, though it does not have to be physical. It must be understood that a specific good cannot be categorized strictly under one kind. Reflection on the meaning of life, suffering. Suffering takes place when we patiently endure unpleasantness, discomfort, and pain. We have here the physical suffering, when we experience physical sensation such as discomfort, hunger, distress, and pain. These are often caused by injury, disease, and the lack of basic needs. Mental suffering. This involves emotional and mental states such as depression, anxiety, fear, loneliness, and grief. These may be caused by unexpected situations in life. How do suffering, happiness, and death give meaning to life? As we approach our death, we experience both happiness and suffering. Although these are distinct experiences, the two are not really meant to complete opposites, for there may be instances when they enrich one another. If we are willing to suffer through adversities and maybe even suffer cheerfully, it makes the pursuit of happiness even more worthwhile. Reflecting on the reality of death enables us to think of how we can best live a meaningful life. Understanding death. Death is commonly understood as the end of bodily functions, which signals the end of a person's life. It also refers to the separation of the body and the spirit. The body, being material, is bounded by the laws of time and space and is subject to growth, death, and decay. The spirit, being immaterial, will continue to exist even after the body has passed. It can be said that we are also beings who are moving towards our impending death. This makes a person's life limited in time. The focus on this limit has led to several attitudes towards death. Some people deny the idea of death, while others focus on experiencing intense moments and feelings in order to feel alive because no one really knows when life will end. These attitudes are not necessarily bad, but they may prevent us from reflecting on the reality of death. We must embrace the fact That death is an integral part of our life. Once we embrace it, we can focus not just on the quantifiable aspects of life, but also on its quality. How should I live my life before it finally ends? Understanding the person as a being towards that brings us back to a very important topic: freedom. Freedom as self determination, which means the capacity to choose and act for oneself. While there is no freedom in the inevitability of death, a person can still exercise freedom in choosing how to face the reality of death in our lives. Temporarily challenges us to make choices that will be good for us and the people around us. The term end can be understood in two ways. It can be terminus, which means full stop or end of a line, or telos, meaning goal, purpose, or fulfillment. The human person is not born into this world just so she could die. Man is put on this earth to live in a meaningful life, to be virtuous and achieve excellence. Activity. Situational question. If you will be dead by tomorrow, what will you do for for the last day of your life? Next, make a personal bucket list of what you wish to do or accomplish in life. These are the guide questions. 1. Why do you choose these things to be in your bucket list? 2. Which among these things do you feel the easiest to accomplish in your lifetime? 3. Which would be the most difficult to do? 4. If you were to leave a legacy in this world, what would it be?